Yo, yo, yo. Hey, guys, welcome back to another awesome edition of the Best Practices Show podcast. You ever felt like everyone's smiling but me? Well, I felt like that. And I've got a new friend to the podcast, Dr. David Rice, who I've known for a long time, and I finally got him on the podcast. And he actually wrote a book. It's called Is Everyone Smiling But You? And it's powerful. I want you guys to read it. So please listen to this episode. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. I'm so pumped that you're here because I get to introduce you to great people in this great industry. And with every little bit, help you create a better practice and a better life. And I got a new friend on, new guest on, David Rice. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, but he just finished a brand new book called Is Everybody Smiling But You, which is powerful. So, David, thank you so much for being on. I can't believe it took me this long to get you on, but thanks for being on, brother. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate being here.
Awesome. Well, I want to start here because we've got a lot of young listeners, and I want people to know who you are. So, who's David Rice? Give us a little background, a little bio on who you are and your story, a little bit.
Yeah. So, a lost guy. No, kidding. 29 years, a dentist.
Okay.
So I've been in dentistry for 29 years. Love it. I'm a GP. A little over a decade ago, I started a community really specifically for young dentists, for dental students called IgniteDDS. I'm a teacher at heart. So as much as I love working with patients, I love even more sharing that information and how to succeed with young people who are just looking at the world like everything is possible. That's exciting for me. Old guys like me, Kirk, sometimes we get in our own way. So it's fun to be around young people who see all the opportunity. And I spend probably 85% of my life working with young docs and students. And sure, I do all the trade shows and speak at all those fun things. Those are great. But I do dentistry now every other month for a week, so I can keep that saw sharp. And life is a really good balance of living in Florida, still working in New York every other month, which is kind of bizarre, but maybe a testament to you can build your life any way you want.
Yeah.
Any way you want.
Absolutely. I love it. And I love that you have the passion for, back in the day and age, and now I'm a really old guy, but when I first got started, it was so fun, and it still is to a certain degree. When you met people that were further along in the journey, they were so willing to give back to you. And what they don't probably understand are how powerful that is. I try to tell even my high school son, I'm like, when you're older, just say hi to the freshmen. You don't know how much it matters when an upperclassman says hi to you, at least in the hallway. And the same thing in this profession, when you're an established whatever and you reach out to somebody who's just getting started, it means a lot, right?
It's huge. I'll tell you, one of my favorite things that happens on a pretty regular basis is, I don't know, maybe it could be 10 years ago, I bought these metal business cards. I don't know if you know Jay Bear, not a dental guy, just a huge marketing guru. Jay's a good friend. And I remember he gave me about 12 years ago, a metal business card. It was a bottle opener. It was that thick. I'm like, holy cow. I will never lose that. So I thought, I'm going to do my own version. But it's really cool when I run into somebody who's a dentist today, but I met 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago as a student, and they open up their purse or their wallet and they're like, I still have this. And when I'm having a bad day, I remember, one line or 2 lines or some lesson. And it's just so cool to be able to be the tiniest part of somebody's journey.
Yeah.
Help them get where they want to go.
I want one of those. Do you still have? Are you still giving those out?
I will send them.
I want one. Way. I'll give them to everybody in my office. Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Now, you're involved in a lot of things. Like you're very involved in the educational part of dentistry, and I want you to tell the journey behind writing the book. You know, I asked you before we hit the go button. That's a big project. It's an awesome project. You're passionate about it. Tell us the journey a little bit.
Yeah. So, you know, I always taught part-time at Buffalo's dental school. So I practiced 4 days a week. I did a day at the school, and I loved it. Sad story. My then associate, who's been a partner now for 27 years, lost his 27-year-old wife a week after their daughter was born. So good news is, like, everything's great. So don't want to like bum anyone out, but went to my chairman. My chairman wouldn't give me a leave of absence. So I, of course, quit, missed teaching, missed helping young people, and thought, man, I've got to figure out a way to do this without, you know, having like shackles on me from a university and people who don't really necessarily understand like what really matters in life. So, you know, after doing Ignite for 10 years, I thought, I'm like, man, there's so many good lessons here. There's so many places where I fell. There's so many great mentors that I had that I didn't know were great. I didn't know how to identify them. And then once I figured it all out, I'm like, God, wouldn't it be cool to give people a playbook on how to do this? So yes, there's great stories, and yes, there's good lessons, but it literally is like, it's a map.
Yeah.
Start here, go here, do this, do that. If this, then that. So it was a crazy journey to get here, but I think it's going to help a lot of people, which makes me really proud.
Yeah, and you shared with me you wanted to be bigger than just dentistry. It's not really a dental book. Can you share a little bit behind that?
Sure. Yeah, it's my goal was, if you're young and you're trying to figure out life like I did at one time, and you know, and I did it. I'm a great example of doing it wrong. I knew as a young person, like I was in love with water. I loved sunshine, but my family was from Buffalo, New York. So I did like the good sun thing, you know, and built a dental practice in Buffalo where it's gray, 10 and a half months a year. And so I wanted to help young people get out of the gate. Where do I go? Who do I need? What, why, how to? And then, you know, learning from my mistakes, I wanted people who were in their mid 40s or 50s, like I was, who woke up and said, like, why the heck did I do that? Knowing really where I really would love to be. And, you know, figured out a way to pick up and move from Buffalo to St. Pete, Florida. And now I wake up every darn day, like super stoked to be here and walk our dog by the bay. And it's amazing.
St. Pete, Florida is pretty sweet. So that's pretty awesome.
It's not bad.
Yeah. So, and then talk about the two buckets, because, you know, this could apply to anybody who's listening. You got the young people, and then there's a second bucket. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know, seasoned pros who just maybe wake up and feel like this isn't really where I want to be. And what do I do? Do I have to be stuck here? And, you know, the answer is no. So, you know, we talk about all the things you've all heard before about vision and habits, and that stuff's important, but we really break it down into, you know, who are the people? What is the process? What is the production side? What do those three things need to look like so you and I can have control in three areas? And that's, you know, on the dental side, it's clinical control, and it's everybody's side, it's financial control, and everybody's side, it's systems control. And when we have those controls in our life, we actually get to build, you know, whatever life we want. And that's a really cool thing to do.
Yeah. And what do you think the main roadblock is for people? Now let's speak typically about dentists. You know, if you're a dentist listening to this, you know, what's the roadblock that you find most people have when you're talking to them about this issue?
It's the old adage of like, it's all up here.
Right.
You know, we get in our own way. Sometimes I think people are afraid to fail. Sometimes I think people are afraid to live so big because they feel guilty about it, like they don't deserve it.
Right.
And, you know, that to get from, you know, level here where you're like, can I do it because it's too hard to get to? And then people get to this higher level and it becomes, do I really deserve to get to that next level? And the answers are like yes and yes, you do. You can make it happen.
Yeah.
We're not rocket scientists in dentistry. There are like recipes that you teach people all the time that are very predictable and work.
Yeah. Can I ask you too, because I love this topic and I love everything about it. Typically, I love this conversation talking to anybody. I do have conversations with dentists, and I want to ask you this one. What if a dentist is listening and saying, listen, David, everyone is smiling but me, but I don't quite I know what I don't want, and it's this, but I don't know what I do want. What do you, where do you go with that one? Like,
I love that question. So I would say, in its simplest form, most of us have like a place that we can go to where we just think clearly, where you just breathe better. For me, it's water. Could be mountains, could be middle of nowhere, could be, for my wife, it's crazy. She needs all the noise in the world as background, and that helps her think. So wherever that place is, find it. And literally block out on your smartphone 2 hours and just free think, free write, message. If you're a digital version, just blurt it all out and don't worry about right or wrong or sequence and how to. Just like keep unloading and then come back to it in a week. And then you can start organizing, and what you'll find are patterns. You'll start to see where your values lie, things that matter to you, whether it's family or vacation or time off, or like all those things will start to come to light. But just take a step and lock and load for 120 minutes.
Yeah. I'm totally picking up what you're putting down. I won't mention this guy's name, but this is so true. I was talking to a dentist and he was in Fresno. And I said, you don't even like it here. He's like, what are you talking about? And then the next morning he picked me up. He's like, I didn't sleep at all last night. And I'm like, why? He's like, because you irritated the crap out of me. And I go, well, what's wrong? I'm just here to ask questions. I'm like, where do you want to go? He's like, Carmel. I'm like, well, that's pretty far from here. He's like, but I just bought some land. No one's going to buy this, like blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what he did? He found a buyer, and guess where he is now? Like and I still talk. Awesome. You'll love this, David. So I said, this is how old I am. I'm like, buddy, there's nothing better than going to the end of your driveway, picking up a newspaper, because I love the newspaper, and saying, this is where I'm supposed to be. Is that what you're talking about? Just like picking a place where you could see yourself at, right?
100%. Yeah. We have a lot of friends who are like, well, how'd you pick St. Pete from Buffalo? I'm like, we knew we wanted water. We knew we had family. So it was East Coast. We wanted warm weather. So it became Florida. We liked the West Coast better than the East. We knew Tampa was a really great airport. And we just took like 4 trips down here and asked friends, like, if we were local and we were within a 30-minute radius of Tampa's airport, like, tell us how to live like a local. And we immersed ourselves for like 4-day weekends and thought, wow, this place feels good. We feel good here. And it doesn't have to be as difficult as everybody makes it. I think vision, people start talking about vision and mission and core values, and it gets very overwhelming for people that don't necessarily like study it. So they just don't do it. Like, just figure out like what your very best day looks like and try to build one great day. Yeah. And then we replicate. Yeah. So you mentioned find out where, and then you got to find the right, mentor community. Can you talk about that? Because number one, we were never designed to do anything on our own. Talk about the journey of finding somebody that can help you with whatever the next step is. So I like mentors in 3 groups. So whether you have 3 of them, 6, 9, 12, whatever it is, but I like 3 groups of mentors. I think we're all used to finding a cheerleader, right? That person who helps us get up when we're not feeling it. Every coach under the sun will tell you to be a 10 out of 10. And let's be honest, sometimes we're like a 6. So we have to have that mentor who can help us get to 10. Second mentor set I like are people who are contrarians, people who see the world 180 degrees from the way you inherently see it, because those people help us find our blind spots. And like, I had a hard time with that. And that becomes a difficult person to listen to. They're not negative people. They're just people who see things that maybe, you and I don't inherently see because of who we are. And then the third one is I love, and this is a Brendan Burchard-ism, I love top 2%ers, because there's so many people who try really, really hard to help us. But if they're not top 2%ers, then like we waste so much time. We lose like so much of that message, like the nuance is just totally gone. So I've always sought out those three types of people. And then I think depending on what your version of success is, you might need more than one in each category. You might find one person hits two of those categories. You might find somebody serves you today, but a year from now, it's you've outgrown them or they've outgrown you. It all works.
Yeah. So David, I get these questions too. So I love the three groups of mentors. It's hard to find a mentor. Where do I go? Where do you find best places to find a mentor? And a big part of it is probably engaging too. I mean, you got to be able to engage with a mentor, not just listen to their podcast. I mean, I love Brendan Burchard, but I've sent him emails. He won't email me back. And I do. I love what I love the contrarian too, because they're going to challenge the heck out of me. And those are hard for me to listen to too. So what are you
100%.
Yeah.
I think we're lucky, when it comes to dentistry, there are, clinically, I love educating and teaching. And if you said, whether you go to Pankey or Coyce or Spear or Dawson, or you're part of the AGD, I mean, there's places that we know you're going to get really strong clinical mentors. So invest in yourself as soon as you possibly can. And then you're going to meet some really cool people there, and they may check more than one box for you. I think organized dentistry has great opportunities, at least just to provide you with a community. And, you're going to walk in a room and you're going to meet, 20 somebodies, but there's going to be that one or two that you're like, there's something about that person that I really, really gravitates toward, and that resonates with me. Those are great places. If you're young and you want to come to IgniteDDS, we've got like 50,000 young professionals. They're you. They might be you yesterday, you today, or you 2 or 3 years from now. And it's your community. It's really not mine. I'm just a goofball who started it 10 years ago. But come and talk to other people who are walking a similar path to you and find out what's going well and maybe where they're struggling. And Kirk, like, it's not going to shock you to know that it's the same half dozen stuff that goes wrong,
for sure,
and the same 10, 20 things that go real well, and we can work on those things together.
Yeah, I totally agree. I am not a mental health expert. It is a very important conversation in dentistry. And like I shared with you, I mean, I have kids in their 20s and late teens. It's an everyday conversation, whether it be with them, friends, young dentists. And you don't even need to be a young dentist to experience this. Give us some perspective on how important this narrative is, just to talk about it in dentistry more than anything.
You know what? You're so right. At the end of the day, it's probably the most important thing we can talk about is, to be happy, to feel like true, like content and safety and joy and all that stuff. And there's so many people who are in a bad spot. So, man, if you're in a bad spot, or you even remotely think you're in the slightest of bad spots, like, just open up to somebody,
right?
Family member, friend. I'm with you. I'll listen to anyone. So anyone who's listening to this, you can text me, you can call me, you can DM me. I will absolutely listen to you. And if I feel like something is really happening, like, I'm going to tell you need to get some real professional care, because that's not me.
Right.
But if you just need 2 ears, I think we've got a lot of really great people in dentistry who really want better for other people out there.
Yeah. And then talk about the journey of it too. I think a lot of times, and then this is just my own personal opinion, a lot of times we get exposed to social media, or we go to a course and we see ideal. And then we come back and then we're kind of left in the gap. I'm like, well, my life doesn't look like this. My dentistry's, everybody's got this perfect team, all that kind of stuff. And it's not about, sometimes it's just taking one step a day, just one step a day in the right direction. Would you agree?
I entirely agree. And there's a chapter in the book, in fact, and it's all about, like, social media is a win. And social media is also a really big loss potentially because it's a snapshot.
Right.
So you see somebody on their best day from their best angle. And I joke with people all the time. I'm like, if you see a picture of Anastasia and I, guaranteed Anastasia has asked me to take that picture like 37 times to get the right light and the right angle. And, you've done it, right? We've all done
Sure.
it. So don't worry about that perfect picture that you think is remotely what you're shooting for, because that's not real life. Everybody has challenges and issues and good days and bad moments. So I think take all that stuff with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And everybody you read out there who's making, I'm a dentist, I make, $500 million a year and work a half a day a week. Guys, it's garbage.
Yeah.
It just is.
I agree with you. Anything I post on social media, it was the one photo that in that day that actually I actually want to post a fight with me and my wife just to let it be, we're just human, type of a thing, so she wouldn't like that though. But it is true. Sometimes we look at that stuff and just think, oh, that's just how it all works. No, it doesn't. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs. And in the end, I think, speak to this, we're in a pretty noble industry. Like this isn't one of those things where if you don't like it and you're not smiling and you think everybody else is, you can change it in any day. Even if you're a dentist and you're like, hey, I don't like this town, you still have the ability to change something, right?
100%. I think we get so deep in it that we forget that DMD, that DDS, that buys you incredible opportunities. You can pick up and move to another area. You can say, you know what? I don't want to do clinical dentistry ever again. Yeah. I can go work for a manufacturer. I can go be an educator. I can work in public health. I can go be an influencer. For goodness sakes, I've got a list of dentists I know who do quite well in life, and they do it on YouTube and Instagram, and there's a million things we can do. So if you're not loving your life, I think it's probably just the strength to stand in front of the mirror, forgive yourself, because it's not your fault. You're one of too many people.
Right.
I was one of those people, and get those mentors and just take a step. Like you said, take one step today to get where you want to go tomorrow.
Yeah, it can be a sweeping change. I mean, you probably have these stories too. I've had GPs go, I don't know, and they ended up becoming orthodontists. I'm like, wow, this is, and it was a good move. No one ever says, yeah, I did it and I didn't like it. I've had some dentists, one I can think of in Canada who's like, I don't even know if I want to be a dentist anymore. And they ended up becoming a vet and loved it. And I actually, not too long ago, I was in Kansas City and I ran into an awesome dentist that I knew 10 years ago, said, I didn't really like owning my own practice. I wanted to be a teacher. Now teaches at the dental school. So happy. You can make your own rules. You don't have to follow any, you don't have to move to St. Pete. That'd be kind of nice, but it can be anything in this process, right?
100%. There's so many options for you. If you don't love your life today, just start asking all the people that you can,
right?
And you're going to find people who can help you take a step.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, give us some fun. A couple things I want to do, David. I want people to reach out to you because it is available. You just finished it. It's on Amazon. Now, this is how this works. If you're not taking notes, we take notes for you. Flip up to the notes. You can click on it. It'll be right there. It'll be a link. I'm going to highly encourage you to check out David's book, and you can purchase it right there. I also want you to talk about a little bit more about IgniteDDS. What is it? If I've never heard about it, what is it and what do you guys do?
Yeah, so we work, like I said, dentists of all ages, but predominantly younger dentists and dental students, and we give them the building blocks that I wish I had, so you don't have to struggle. You can go make your own mistakes, just don't make mine. So we teach you on the people side how to lead and how to be a person of character and lead a team of character, especially if you're an associate. You don't have to own your own practice to start building those skills. We teach you process, on the clinical side, on the procedural side. So you can, again, even as an associate, you can control your room. So that's great. Let's get started. And then on the production side, just to level up your skills so you can stop putting out fires and doing that whole like tooth at a time thing and do complete care. Because what I know is I want you at Pankey, I want you at Kois, but if you're young, you're probably not ready to drop that 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand to go there. So we're going to get you a lot of great information, and then we're going to turn you over to some of our amazing friends in the industry who can carry that ball even further for you.
Yeah, go back to that. So I love that you're giving voice to something, and I'll share with you a couple stories that I've had. I've had some people come up to me in this great industry, and they're the associates that don't own their own practices. I had several people, like, you guys always do your education for the owners and all these people. Well, we're the unsung heroes. We give blood to other people's success. You never talk about us. Like somebody, does anyone have the same conversation with you, or am I the only one that hears this one? And I think they're absolutely right. Like that, those people are the unsung heroes. We don't talk about them as much as we should in dentistry, right?
We don't. And I think, if you look on the industry side, it doesn't happen a lot on the industry side because the industry thinks like, hey, young dentist, non-owner, like you don't have any money. You're not paying me. So you'll get there, but maybe not right now. And so I would tell you, if that's you, like, please reach out. Whether you just come and hang out with us on social media and you learn lots of tips and tricks, great. Or you want to invest in yourself without writing that $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 check that you will do as an owner, we can help. We help at least 300 young dentists connect per year all over the US to find that practice. We don't broker, that's not my gig. But we will show you the ropes, get you up and running, make you more productive, and give you the skill sets that you can carry with you no matter where you wind up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, tell me, if I'm listening to the podcast, where do I go to find out more about that, Dave?
Yeah. So a couple places. You can go to IgniteDDS.com. It'll allow you to, drop us a message to our team. If you're a social media person, you want to just go on Instagram, go to @IgniteDDS. You guys can text me, 716-912-7970. Like, I want you to reach out. I want to help you. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but she's still here. So I think we're okay. But reach out. Like, don't wait.
Yeah.
Don't wait another 6 months or another year. It's, that we think it's a straight line from where we are to where we're going, but it's just not. It's a trajectory.
Yeah.
So the longer you wait, the harder it is, the more money it costs, the riskier it is. So just take a step today.
Amen, brother. I love it. Well, give us some final thoughts before we say goodbye to everybody else.
Yeah. Final thoughts. Just that, this current situation that you're in a future circumstance that you want, you're on a path. If you're on the right path today, there are definitive steps you should be taking to stay on that right path. And if you're on the wrong path today, which a lot of us are as young people, because we just weren't taught that in school or residencies or in the practice that we're associating in, you need to get off that path ASAP. Because if you wait 6 months, you wait a year, you wait 2 years, you're further away from where you want to be than where you are right now. Yeah. So I would just encourage you to ask great questions, ask for help, and do it now. Yeah. Don't wait.
I totally agree. Well, buddy, like I said, I'm so grateful for you to come on and share your story and what you're up to. I think you're up to something that's very powerful and a lot of people need. Doesn't matter if you're a dentist or not. I mean, those are some really good steps. So awesome. So you guys, if you're listening, which you better be listening. So the name of the book is Everyone Smiling But You, from Dr. David Rice. You got to check it out. We'll have a link down in the show notes. You can go right there and also check out IgniteDDS. So David, thanks for being on. Stick around while we say goodbye to everybody else. But thank you guys for listening to the Best Practices Show. If you enjoyed today, do us a favor, just hit the share button, share with your friends. Keep sending us suggestions for things you guys want to see. I love this profession and want to make sure you guys are showing up, creating a better practice and better life. Until we hear from you guys next time, or you see us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show. You guys enjoy your day.